Have you ever noticed how exhausting life becomes when you spend more time managing other people's opinions than developing your own purpose? Have you ever felt drained because you're constantly explaining yourself, defending yourself, proving yourself, and trying to make everyone understand your heart? The truth is that some of the greatest delays in our lives happen when we become more focused on other people's journeys than the assignment God placed in our own hands. There comes a season when heaven calls you into a deeper level of maturity, a season where your growth requires silence, your healing requires distance, and your destiny requires focus. Today I want to speak to the person who has been carrying unnecessary burdens, fighting unnecessary battles, and having conversations God never asked them to have. This is your season to focus on yourself and stay silent. Not because you have nothing to say, but because what God is doing in you is more important than what others are saying about you. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop feeling responsible for everyone's understanding of you. Many people are emotionally exhausted not because they have too much work, because they have too many explanations. Every day they are trying to convince someone of their intentions. They are trying to make people understand why they made certain decisions. They are trying to correct every misunderstanding and respond to every criticism. What they do not realize is that the need to be understood by everyone is often the very thing preventing them from becoming who God called them to be. Some of us have spent years trying to manage perceptions instead of managing our purpose. We have spent precious energy making sure everyone approves of our choices. We have allowed our confidence to rise and fall based on who supports us and who doesn't. But there comes a moment in spiritual maturity when you realize that not everyone is assigned to understand your journey. The people around you only see pieces of the story. They see the chapter you are currently living, but they do not see the conversations you have had with God. They do not see the tears you cried in private. They do not see the prayers you whispered when nobody else was listening. They do not know the battles you fought just to arrive at this moment. Yet, somehow we keep seeking validation from people who were never given access to the full picture. God never intended for your purpose to be dependent upon public approval. If He did, then every great calling in Scripture would have failed. The individuals who changed history often walked through seasons where nobody understood what God was doing in their lives. They were misunderstood. They were questioned, they were criticized. Yet, they continued moving forward, because they valued God's direction more than human opinion. There is a difference between wisdom and distraction. Wisdom listens and learns. Distraction constantly looks around for confirmation. Wisdom keeps moving. Distraction keeps stopping to explain. Many people are standing still because they are busy responding to voices that were never meant to lead them. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not need to respond to every accusation. You do not need to defend yourself against every misunderstanding. Some battles become stronger simply because you keep feeding them your attention. Some critics become louder because they know you are listening. Some distractions continue because they know they can steal your focus. The enemy understands something that many believers overlook. He knows that if he cannot stop your purpose, he will try to divide your attention. He will place people, situations, and opinions in your path that tempt you to abandon your focus. He knows that a distracted person becomes less effective. He knows that a divided mind struggles to move forward with confidence. This is why focus is a spiritual discipline. Focus is not merely about productivity. It is about stewardship. It is about protecting the assignment God entrusted to you. Every minute spent obsessing over what people think is a minute taken away from building what God called you to build. Every hour spent explaining yourself is an hour that could have been invested in growth. Every emotional battle fought for approval leaves less strength available for purpose. You have to ask yourself an honest question. What could your life become if you stopped giving your energy away? What could happen if you redirected every ounce of attention currently being spent on criticism, comparison, and validation towards your own growth? How much stronger would your faith become? How much clearer would your vision become? How much healthier would your mind become? Many people are waiting for the noise around them to disappear before they move forward. But growth does not happen when the noise disappears. Growth happens when you learn how to focus despite the noise. There will always be opinions. There will always be doubters. There will always be people who misunderstand your decisions. If you make their understanding a requirement for your progress, you will remain stuck forever. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is continuing your journey without stopping to explain every step. Sometimes confidence looks like silence. Sometimes strength looks like walking away from a conversation that serves no purpose. Sometimes maturity looks like refusing to defend yourself because you trust God to reveal the truth in His timing. When you become obsessed with growth, something remarkable begins to happen. The opinions that once controlled you lose their power. The criticism that once wounded you loses its influence. The distractions that once delayed you lose their grip. You begin to understand that your responsibility is not to control what people think about you. Your responsibility is to become everything God created you to be. There are blessings attached to focus. There is peace attached to focus. There's clarity attached to focus. There is power attached to focus. The moment you stop carrying the burden of everyone's expectations, you create room for God's purpose to flourish. The moment you stop chasing approval, you begin pursuing destiny. The moment you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you start hearing God more clearly. Your future does not require universal acceptance. Your calling does not require everyone's applause. Your purpose does not need permission from people who cannot see what God has shown you. Keep growing, keep healing, keep learning, keep becoming. Let your progress speak louder than your explanations. Let your character speak louder than your defense. Let your results speak louder than your arguments. Let your focus become so strong that distractions no longer have the authority to determine your direction. There are seasons in life when God calls you to speak boldly, and there are seasons when God calls you to remain silent. The challenge is that many people do not recognize the difference. They assume that every thought must be shared, every plan must be announced, and every blessing must be explained. Yet, some of the most powerful work God does in a person's life happens in hidden places where no audience is present. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people think silence is weakness, insecurity, or fear. But spiritual silence is something entirely different. It is the confidence to trust God's process without feeling the need to constantly explain it. It is the discipline of protecting what God is developing inside you before it is fully mature. Think about a seed planted in the ground. The most important part of its development happens beneath the surface where nobody can see it. If that seed were constantly dug up to prove its growth, it would never become what it was created to be. In the same way, God often develops purpose, character, wisdom, and strength in private before He reveals them publicly. Many people delay their own progress because they expose everything too soon. They share dreams before those dreams have roots. They announce plans before those plans have direction. They seek validation for things God has only just begun to develop. Then when criticism comes, doubt enters. When opposition appears, confidence weakens. When questions arise, they begin questioning themselves. Not everything God tells you is meant for public discussion. Some revelations are for your encouragement. Some instructions are for your obedience. Some visions are meant to be protected until the proper season arrives. Wisdom understands that not every assignment requires an announcement. There are people who genuinely love you, but even they may not understand what God is doing in your life. Their limitations do not make them bad people. They simply cannot see what God has shown you. If you depend on their understanding before you move forward, you may remain trapped in a season that God intended you to outgrow. Silence protects your faith. When God gives you a vision, that vision often begins small. It may not make sense to everyone around you. In fact, it may not fully make sense to you. During those early stages, faith needs room to grow, constantly exposing your vision to doubt, criticism, and negativity can weaken your confidence before the vision has had time to mature. Some people spend so much energy talking about what they are going to do that they never actually do it. They become addicted to the attention that comes from sharing plans instead of embracing the discipline required to accomplish them. God did not call you to impress people with your intentions. He called you to honor Him through your actions. One of the greatest forms of spiritual maturity is learning to work quietly. Not because you lack ambition, but because your confidence no longer depends on public recognition. You are no longer motivated by applause. You are motivated by purpose. You are no longer seeking approval, you are seeking obedience. The world often celebrates noise. It rewards visibility. It encourages people to broadcast every thought and every achievement. Yet God frequently works through hidden seasons. Before promotion comes preparation. Before elevation comes development. Before influence comes transformation. The hidden season can feel uncomfortable because it requires trust. You may feel overlooked. You may feel forgotten. You may wonder why your efforts are not being recognized. But hidden does not mean abandoned. Quiet does not mean insignificant. Invisible does not mean ineffective. While others are looking for attention, God may be building your character. While others are chasing recognition, God may be strengthening your foundation. While others are announcing every move, God may be preparing you for responsibilities that require deeper wisdom and greater maturity. There is protection in silence. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerabilities. Not everyone deserves access to your next move. Some people celebrate your success, others compete with it. Some people encourage your growth, others secretly resent it. Wisdom teaches you how to discern the difference. The more valuable something is, the more carefully it is protected. Precious treasures are not left exposed. Important documents are secured. Valuable investments are guarded. In the same way, the calling God has placed on your life deserves protection. This does not mean becoming isolated or suspicious of everyone. It means becoming intentional. It means understanding that God has not assigned every person to every part of your journey. Some relationships are seasonal. Some conversations are unnecessary. Some explanations are optional. There will be moments when people misunderstand your silence. They may assume you are distant. They may think you have changed. They may question your motives, but growth often changes priorities. As you mature, you become less interested in proving yourself and more interested in becoming who God created you to be. The person who constantly needs to be seen often becomes vulnerable to distraction. But the person who learns to work quietly develops resilience. They learn how to stay focused without external validation. They learn how to trust God's timing instead of forcing their own. God is building things inside of you that cannot be rushed. He is developing wisdom that requires patience. He is creating strength that requires testing. He is producing character that requires refinement. Every challenge, every delay, every hidden season may be contributing to a greater purpose than you currently understand. Your silence is not emptiness. Your silence is preparation. Your silence is trust. Your silence is strength under control. Your silence is evidence that you no longer need everyone to understand your journey in order to continue walking it. Some victories are meant to be celebrated after they happen, not before. Some breakthroughs are meant to be revealed when they are complete, not while they are still forming. Some blessings grow stronger when they remain protected from unnecessary opinions and distractions. Keep praying quietly. Keep growing quietly. Keep learning quietly. Keep healing quietly. Keep trusting quietly. Let God complete His work within you without feeling pressure to constantly explain what He is doing. Allow your life to become the testimony. Allow your transformation to become the evidence. Allow your fruit to speak where words are no longer necessary. One of the greatest burdens many people carry is a burden God never asked them to carry. They spend their lives trying to rescue people who refuse to change, fix situations they cannot control, and carry responsibilities that belong to someone else. They become emotionally exhausted because they have confused compassion with responsibility. They have mistaken caring for someone with being accountable for someone's choices. There comes a point in your spiritual growth when you must understand a powerful truth. You cannot do someone else's work for them. You cannot heal people who refuse healing. You cannot force maturity on someone who enjoys remaining immature. You cannot drag people into the future God prepared for them when they are determined to stay where they are. Many kind-hearted people struggle with this reality because they genuinely want the best for others. They see potential in people. They see gifts in people. They see possibilities in people. Because of that, they begin investing tremendous amounts of time and energy trying to help someone become who they were meant to be. The problem is that potential only matters when it is partnered with responsibility. No amount of encouragement can replace personal discipline. No amount of advice can replace personal action. No amount of support can replace personal commitment. You may love someone deeply, but you cannot make their decisions for them. You may pray for them, encourage them, and support them, but eventually every individual must decide whether they will embrace growth or resist it. That choice belongs to them. Many believers are delaying their own destiny because they are consumed by someone else's journey. They spend so much time worrying about another person's future that they neglect their own calling. They spend so much energy managing another person's problems that they ignore God's assignment for their own lives. Imagine trying to run a race while carrying someone on your back who refuses to walk. Eventually, your progress slows down. Your strength begins to fade, your focus becomes divided. What started as compassion gradually becomes a burden that prevents both people from moving forward. God never intended for you to become responsible for every outcome in someone else's life. He called you to love people, not control them. He called you to support people, not carry them indefinitely. He called you to encourage people, not sacrifice your own purpose in the process. Some people have developed an unhealthy habit of believing they are the solution to everyone's problems. They feel guilty whenever someone struggles. They feel responsible whenever someone fails. They feel obligated whenever someone makes poor choices. But there is a difference between being available and being responsible. You can be available to help without becoming responsible for the results. You can offer wisdom without caring the consequences of someone else's decisions. You can provide support without abandoning your own assignment. Jesus himself demonstrated this principle. He loved people deeply. He healed people. He taught people. He served people. Yet, he never forced people to follow him. He never chased after those who continually rejected truth. He understood that every person had the freedom to choose their own path. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and allow people to experience the consequences of their choices. That may sound difficult, but growth often happens when individuals accept responsibility for their own lives. Constantly rescuing someone from every consequence may actually prevent them from developing the maturity they need. There are people who have become so accustomed to being rescued that they never learn how to stand on their own. They expect others to solve problems they should be solving themselves. They expect others to carry burdens they should be carrying. They expect others to make sacrifices they are unwilling to make. Meanwhile, the person doing all the caring becomes depleted. Their peace suffers, their joy suffers, their purpose suffers. Their relationship with God suffers because they are so busy managing everyone else's life that they neglect their own spiritual health. God did not create you to be everyone's savior. That position is already occupied. Your assignment is not to save the world. Your assignment is to obey God within the area He has entrusted to you. There is freedom in understanding your limits. There is peace in recognizing what belongs to you and what belongs to someone else. There is strength in accepting that you cannot control every outcome. When you release responsibilities that do not belong to you, something powerful begins to happen. Your energy returns, your clarity returns, your focus returns, your passion returns. Suddenly, you have room to invest in your own growth. You have time to strengthen your faith. You have space to pursue the calling God placed on your life. Many people spend years asking God for direction while simultaneously ignoring the assignment already in front of them. They are distracted by other people's decisions, other people's drama, and other people's responsibilities. That is waiting for them to redirect their attention toward what He specifically called them to do. Your assignment matters. Your purpose matters. Your growth matters. The gifts God placed within you matter. The vision God gave you matters. The opportunities He has prepared for you matter. You were not created merely to manage other people's lives. You were created to fulfill a unique purpose that no one else can accomplish exactly the way you can. There are people you are called to impact. There are lives you are called to influence. There are doors you are called to walk through. But you cannot fully embrace your assignment while carrying responsibilities that belong to everyone else. Eventually, you must make a decision. You must decide whether you will spend your life managing other people's choices or developing your God-given purpose. This season requires focus. This season requires wisdom. This season requires healthy boundaries. This season requires courage to let people own their decisions while you embrace your calling. Pray for people. Love people. Encourage people. Support people. But do not lose yourself trying to become responsible for what God never assigned you to carry. Release what belongs to others and take hold of what belongs to you. Walk confidently in the direction God has placed before you. Invest your energy where it can produce fruit. Invest your attention where it can create growth. Invest your faith in the assignment heaven entrusted specifically to your hands.